Alright, so has this ever happened to you where you're going along reloading your 223 or 556 brass cases and you think you are lubing the case enough, but in fact you don't? So when you are resizing and depriming, the case gets stuck and won't come out. It's happened to me. Obviously, happened right here. You can see it's a bit mangled where I tried to pry it out with pliers. This brass case stuck in this RCBS. This is the X-base die. This is the 556 TC seater. This is the full length die, specifically for semi-automatic rifles. So I thought I had enough lubrication. Obviously I didn't. This thing would not come out no matter how hard I tried to pry it out. It got stuck. It just pulled right out of the shell holder in the die. No amount of putting penetrating oil in here and clamping it with the pliers could loosen this out. And in the process of trying to pound it out through here, pounding on the depriming pin, you can see what happened, because this guy was in here and I'm trying to pound it through here to pop it out, and this got pretty mangled, bent, obviously unusable. And you might think that the die is unusable, or you might think, I'm going to send this back to the manufacturer and have them, because some manufacturers of dies will offer a service. Well, they will extract these guys out for you and then send it back. It's a little cheaper than buying a whole new die to have it done this way. Or for not a lot of money, for about less than $20, you can buy this RCBS stuck case remover kit. This is from Brownells. No, this is from Amazon.com actually, but you can buy it at Brownells or Midway. And it comes with, hopefully, I haven't opened it yet, hopefully everything you need to actually get that case out of there. It's not terribly straightforward because you are not going to be able to pry it out or punch it out. With this case tool, you have to actually drill out the primer pocket. You drill that out, it comes with a drill bit. And then as long as you have a T-handle, you use, I'm just going to take it out here. You use this guy, this threading die, and you cut threads, and then after you cut the threads, you go through this other process to extract it. So we're going to go through this process. As you can see, I just got it. I haven't tested this out. I have no idea if this is going to work, but it's definitely cheaper than buying a new die. Hopefully it won't be as nearly as frustrating as trying to crank this guy out with a lock channel pliers or some kind of pliers that obviously didn't work. It just mangled the base of this cartridge, the head here. So let's try it out. Here's the drill bit. This is a hex wrench, hex key. And we have, this is the hex bolt, and this thing is a spacer that we put over the end of the die. There are instructions on how you're supposed to do this. You can pause the video if you can actually read this. So first thing we have to do is we have to put this securely in a vise. In this case, I put some tape here to hopefully prevent it from making any, damaging the die when you squeeze it. this is what we're going to do to keep it steady. Let's see if I can get it as steady as possible, as secure as possible, so it doesn't move here. Okay. Now it says unscrew the expander rod, which I did. Secure the reloading die in a vise, which I did. Then drill the case head with the number 7 drill bit. Number 7 drill bit. Drill. This is the Black & Decker matrix with the whole head that removes to put in other heads. Okay, that's pretty tight. Gonna plug this guy in. Alright, so now we're gonna drill. You just put it right on here. I have seen this where you drill with a thinner bit to get it started, but I don't think you really need to do that in this case. This is the small primer pocket, so it's not terribly. There's not a lot of space in here for the drill bit. Uh-oh. Make sure it's in there tight. Okay. Oh boy, that did not like that. Let's try that again. Okay. Now we go in and cut some threads. So here's the T handle. I have inserted the thread cutting tool here. And then you tighten it down. Ordinarily, something like this, you would want to put some kind of cutting oil, some kind of lube in here to assist with the cutting process, but since this is brass, it's pretty soft. I don't think I'm going to need it. And we just start cutting the threads. I can feel it biting in there, and you can see the chips coming up as it goes in. I can see I'm not going in perfectly straight up and down, unfortunately. I'm going at the slightest angle, but I don't think that's going to matter, but we will see. I'm going to try to get this as far down as I can. It doesn't need to go all the way down because the threaded portion is just through the base. It's just through the base of the cartridge case here. There. And I can see in here that it is pretty well threaded all the way. See if I can zoom in on that. You can see that the threads have cut. Sorry, this is not. There we go. Have cut pretty well. Okay, so now is the real test to see if this guy comes out. First thing I'm going to do is give it a little bit of croil. This is a penetrating oil. See if that helps bring it up a bit. I already sprayed this earlier, but it doesn't hurt to put a little more in there. And how this is going to work is this guy goes over the end of the die. This threads into the threads that we just cut. So it goes into here, and there's space, there's a gap in there. So in theory, as I screw this down, it's going to pull the die out, pull the cartridge case out of the die up into here. And we have this hex key. Let's just test thread it. Okay, it goes in. All right. I'm going to have to get this all the way down to the bottom here. It might take, oh my goodness. Oh man, that's tight. One of the tricks that you can do if you don't buy this kit, another way to do it is just to take a socket, just any size socket really that will fit over the end of the die to be used as the spacer. And then on the other end, I mean obviously this is not going to work because this just goes right through, so you'd have to put a washer here or something to keep this from going through. So when you go in here, that's if you don't want to buy the entire kit, or you can go with a nut, just a tall nut like that. And in my case, I'm going to try to expedite this process by using the nut as an additional spacer here, so I don't have to screw this all the way down. I'm going to see if I can get away with this. Hopefully it will speed up this process a tad. So I feel less resistance now. But the idea is to screw this until, don't stop until the case is fully out of the die. This is moving a little bit too easy, so I don't know. Ah, it worked. Look at that. Wow. Man, can you see? Oh, it's very greasy. So the penetrating oil really got down there. And there we go. Here's the die. No damage. You definitely don't want any damage or debris inside here, so when you use it again it doesn't scrape or scar the edges of the case. And now you might be asking, what are you going to do about that? Obviously this can't be reused. The nice thing is, if you go to the RCBS website, there's in their FAQ section, there's an area where they address this issue. And they say, if this was damaged during the process of extracting a stuck case, give them the model number of the die. They will send you a new one for free. They may ask for some sort of proof, so I'm going to take a picture of this, or I might point them to this video. And then they will simply mail you, in theory, I haven't tried it yet, a replacement one of these things, and I can get back to reloading my 223.